This represents the killing of old beliefs and religions that depicted Lucifer as a beast. The New World religion worships him as beautiful. Behind the phoenix, the ghostly figures of the walking dead are stepping into a void. They symbolize depopulation. On the right panel, the pale horse from the book of Revelation is the bringer of death to humanity through weapons, hunger, and disease. The man is releasing him.
Hi everyone. By now you've probably already heard about the LA fire. What I want to show you is some things I found this morning that you may not have heard of. First, I want to remind you that for some time, Los Angeles has been part of the C40 Cities Initiative. This is the smart city plan for the entire world. This video from this morning reminded me so much of Lahaina that I decided to do a lot of deep digging. So I wasn't at all surprised when I found this. Found this one too. Pacific Palisades was supposed to have a board meeting in February regarding some new legislation. But by far, the most disturbing thing I found was this right here, Smart LA 2028. But I don't want to leave anything out. This is a video I took yesterday morning, driving down the 5 South. Take a good look at this cloud. No bioengineering, of course, although they spray constantly, every single day. It's just a very strange looking cloud. Looks like a circle.
Well, it seems it's about that time again. Time I go patent hunting, because every time there's something big in the news, I seem to find a patent. And I don't know if you've seen this picture or this video. Or this video where things from the other fire west of LA, the blue things
way west
seem to want to burn.
in the islands.
None of them. Which brings us to this video, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen, where a certain color doesn't seem to be impacted by that directed light. Which brings us to U.S. patent number 103378. You can see the rest, but click on it, and what do we have? I'm not even going to say it up there, but you can read, and you can click, and you can read, and you can scroll. Go look for yourself. I'll tell you one thing I probably know for sure, though, is I bet a lot of the elites in that area, I bet none of them lost their lives. I bet they had some advanced warning of what was coming. But of course, all of this is just speculation and satire, and I don't even know if that is CGI, AI, or what, but if I were you, I'd use my noggin and research more myself. Entertainment only, of course.
Hey, Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai.
Double honors to apostles, elders, and all you brothers and sisters pushing the name of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua in all truth and sincerity. Through the Spirit of the Lord, pray the Lord pour the Spirit, teach this lesson the right way, and glorify Him in fear and trembling. Because even though we see and we rejoice that our enemies are being judged, we fear. And we rejoice in trembling because that's the beginning of wisdom. But the Lord said, when you see all these things happening to thy enemies and all the people that came up against thee, when you read the book of Luke, He said, lift up thy head for thy redemption is nigh. And that's ultimately the things that's happening. That's why we're amped through the Spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, so we can get out of this nasty ass kingdom, this sinful flesh, and be renewed. And as King David said, rise up against the sword, which is against the wicked, which is thy sword, so we can wake up in his likeness. Because as soon as this man is destroyed and this kingdom is over, that's the end of our warfare. That's when the scriptures say we shall be changed in the twinkle of an eye. That's why we hasten the destruction. That's why all these so-called Christians and people who claim to know the Bible, we look at them as fugazis or false prophets, false teachers. Like what Apostle Rakai like to say, charlatans. Because when you really understand the Lord, you hasten that this foul place be destroyed. And you also understand judgment, as it's telling you in Proverbs 28:5. Evil men understand not judgment, but ye that seek the Lord understand all things. We know that this man is coming down. The Lord is judging this man and pouring out his wrath and his fire. And when you read Psalms 148:8, the Lord said that the storms, the weather, the fire are at his command. Also Psalms 29:7. We know that this is the Lord. But then on the left, we know that the prophecy says, Job 9:24, that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And this man is exercising the power that the Lord gave him on the left-hand side with his technology, his advancements. Spirit had it where watching one of the elders from Chicago, Malcolm, and the guy brought out a certain thing with the patent, the direct beam, doesn't touch blue. And then another brother, one of the elders from Dallas, sent the video, and the lady's talking about how they got a new smart city for 2028. So the Spirit had me meditate and think about the UN building, the UN Mural. There's a mural with a phoenix rising out of the ashes. Because the Lord tell you in Obadiah how the things that Esau searched out, and tell you in the Luke 8:17, whatever hidden shall be exposed or brought to light. Nothing that's hidden that shall come, nothing that is secret that shall not be revealed. So we understand that this man is using his power on the left-hand side fully to be the damn devil that he is, because he covet fills, as the scriptures tell you. And everything that's given to him, he using it in full extreme or full force. That's where you get Operation Warp Speed that happened during Trump's first presidency. He gave you a term. He says this is the calm before the storm. It was calm during his presidency. His ending was the beginning of the damn pandemic and Biden. But right now they're coming in full-fledged with that warp speed. But this is the scriptures. This is Micah 2:1-2. It said, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. And that goes back into that mural, because in that mural of the phoenix, they tell you that the whole mural, or that whole reason, is everybody being ushered or pushed into the New World Order. And one of the things in that mural, they had the pale white horse, the fulfilled Revelation 6:8, where the Lord talk about it was giving him power to release the pale horse or death. And when you listen to the breakdown of that mural in the UN, it tell you that the pale horse represents death, famine. That's why you see him burning up livestock, farmers' crops. This is part of this man's wickedness, as the Lord said. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And this is things that have an agenda or orchestrated. That's why people are putting all these coincidences together. The building of the smart city, how the 4 fires in LA doesn't make sense scientifically, that they're being pushed. Of course. That's why Spirit had it where the brother Malcolm in Chicago, the elder out there, brought out Codex Magica. They got another book called Behold the Pale Horse, where this man in Codex Magica tell you that, or Codex Magica tell you that they have a seat in the White House for Satan to appear. This man deals with that left-hand side to the fullest. He's the prince of this world. And this world belongs to the spiritual Satan, and he's the prince of this world. That's why the Lord said, the prince of this world cometh, which has nothing to do with me, because he's filled with iniquity and sin upon sin. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. So it says, because it is in the power of their hand, and they covet fields and take them by violence. That's why you had the people bringing up the thing with Maui. You had the hurricane situation in North Carolina where they took those people a certain area that didn't want to sell, that has a certain element used for cell phones. And there's all kind of covert or different reasons why they take fields and covet places. It started during the time of Jerusalem, where they pushed it to the western coast of Africa. It happened during the time of Western Africa, where they ushered us over here into the New World, or aka the Americans, in hardcore slavery. And it was coveting and taking the fields from our brothers Gad and Reuben by violence. This is this man's MO. That's why I tell you John 10:10, that the thief cometh not but to kill, destroy. You know? That's this man's MO. That's why they have that mural of death over there in the UN. They also have one at the Denver airport. Through the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua, we've been telling you and warning you about these things with the Georgia Guidestones. So when they have these things with the fires, the wildfires, if it did start naturally of the Lord's judgment, because overall it's the Lord's judgment. The Lord says he shall visit you, Isaiah 29:6, with tempest, hail, fire, stormy weather. They tell you, it's that Proverbs, I think 11:6, Psalms 11:6, that upon the wicked shall become brimstone and fire. Because the ultimate fire is that nuclear missile, but this is the prelude or the hors d'oeuvres before the main event of those nuclear missiles. So it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, in a house and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, and every man his heritage. Going first and foremost, you touch the children of Israel's property. And still to this day. But they don't give a hell about their own people. You had the insurance company a few months ago take away their fire insurance, and all of a sudden you have a mass wildfire that's tear up everything. This man has used this. The earth was given to this man on the left-hand side, and even go back to that mural, it says when you look at it, it had Jake in slavery, and then on top it shows the white man in power using science. And his technology, the word tech means craft and ology, because it's all witchcraft and science and everything on the left-hand side. We read Thessalonians said that man the sin shall be revealed, coming in all power of Satan. So we know that this man deals with everything on the left-hand side. So just, but we know that the judgment ultimately comes from the Heavenly Father and his wrath. And that's what's happening. Another thing with Ali Carter, anytime you get these pedophile rings about to be exposed, all of a sudden you have these natural disasters, like during the time of Pizzagate and everything else. Then you had the pandemic. Epstein's report supposed to have been released, never released. Always, then Puff Daddy came to take the spot. So the Lord said, at least Satan should get an advantage of us. We're not ignorant to his devices. So ultimately, no matter how you try to hide it coming, the judgment of the Lord is coming. So Shalom, this is a quick one. To the Spirit of the Lord, Shalom to the elect.
So let me get this straight. In the last 2 days, fires have broken out in the Palisades, Pasadena, Sunset, and now Studio City. 4 different places, miles apart. And according to ChatGPT, which I love so much, it
is almost physically and scientifically impossible for 4 separate fires to break out that far apart in this way. Y'all, I do not want to sound like an alarmist or a conspiracy theorist or a contrarian, but this is starting to feel like ecoterrorism. And I know I'm not the only one who is starting to get a very funny feeling about this natural disaster.
Were you guys prepared enough for this? Did we have enough resources to fight these fires?
No, LA County and all 29 fire departments in our county are not prepared for this type of widespread disaster. There are not enough firefighters in LA County to address 4 separate fires of this magnitude. We were prepared. We did get state pre-position resources that came from Northern California that were up in the Santa Clarita Valley. We did hire additional firefighters from the LA County Fire Department and pre-positioned them in the Santa Monica Mountains. The LA County Fire Department was prepared for 1 or 2 major brush fires, but not 4, especially given these sustained winds and low humidities. Like our Director of Emergency Management said, this is not a normal red flag alert.
I'm going to choose my words carefully. But when the dust and the ashes cleared, if we later find out that this was not natural, that this was man-made, and that it's not a coincidence that Los Angeles County, one of the richest and most vocal anti-Trump liberal hubs in the country, was intentionally set on fire in 4 different locations less than 2 weeks before that thing that you guys elected gets sworn in at his quinceanera on the 20th. If we find out this was man-made, we all know exactly where to look.
Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used as water, what they call water flow, where where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc.
Now, do you guys for 1 second think that Donald Trump is psychic and just magically predicted what's currently happening 4 months ago? Do you think it's just, him being so insightful that a political talking point that he used to fearmonger Californians into voting for him suddenly ended up becoming a reality 10 days or so before his inauguration? Do you by any chance think that God said, let me help show the people that Trump was right? Like, come on.
We have some breaking news right now. Donald Trump just slammed California Governor Gavin Newsom and turned a tragedy into a political event. In a new post he just made to his Truth Social, Donald Trump writes, quote, Governor Gavin Newsom refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow melts from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. Now the ultimate price is being paid. I will demand that the incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California. He is the blame for this. Folks, this statement is abhorrent. Governor Gavin Newsom is not to blame for the wildfires breaking out. And if you recall, just months ago, Donald Trump threatened to withhold wildfire aid to California if he became president over political disagreements he has with Governor Newsom. Statements like these during a tragedy that's unfolding in California are not helpful.
And for any of you who are wondering why Trump seems so hyper fixated, not just on California, but on Gavin Newsom specifically, I don't know how else to say this. Gavin Newsom is low-key considered the white Barack Obama. He is attractive. He is charming. He's civically engaged. He knows how to get a crowd going. He is very charismatic in a way that Trump on his best day could not even conceive of. And he's also a white man. That is literally Trump's worst nightmare. And I don't think it's a coincidence that after murmurs started that Gavin Newsom would be a great person to run in the 2028 election, suddenly Trump became fixated on making the public hate him.
Biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are are just destroyed. I don't even know. You know, you talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration.
I hate to even ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden, and he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us.
Please Google the term eco-terrorism. I do not think this is Mother Nature. I think this is man being greedy and strategic and creating chaos. We'll see. Honestly, we're not going to see. I'm pretty clear at this point this is not natural.
Because what terrorists do is target the innocent deliberately. And therefore, my definition of terrorism is the systematic and deliberate attack, the murder, maiming, and menacing of innocents, of civilians, for political goals. I think that you can tell a lot about terrorists, but what happens when they come to power?
The general message of the UN's Phoenix Rising mural is that humanity is stepping into a new Luciferic reality. Beneath this disturbingly prophetic mural, world leaders make global decisions that affect the lives of nearly 7 billion people.
91 closed-door meeting of fellow internationalists, billionaire and former CFR chairman David Rockefeller praised his media allies. But his confidence that his words would not leave the room was later broken.
We are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time Magazine, and other publications whose directors have attended our meetings and restricted their policies of discretion for almost 40 years. It would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the frank light of publicity. But the world is now more sophisticated and prepared to march toward a world government.
It reveals that these men aim to create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. In short, they seek total and quiet control of the entire world.